The fourth down run successful. Now they look to pay it off on first down. Play clock down to 0, and this is not the way to start a drive. He didn't even try to signal for a timeout, so they must have not been aware of the numbers.
I think he lost track of the time left in the play clock and probably was trying to read the defense and trying to figure out which play to run and just lost track, and it cost him.
The delay of game backs him up 5, 1st and 15. Throwing now is Carr into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. Picked off near the 32. And they are going to set up shop at the 32-yard line. And he may want to track down that football because that's interception number 1 on his career.
You're saying that's going into the trophy case?
I'd put it there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That's when you ask the equipment guys to make sure they hold it for you after the game. But if you play in the back 7 on defense, that's part of your job, finding ways to take the ball away from the other team.
Here's Flacco, and that's incomplete.
It's always tough for the guys throwing the football when they think they've got a completion and the ball's almost there, and then someone sneaks a hand or two in and bats it away.
Here's 2nd and 10 now from about the 32. On 2nd down, Collins. And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain.
And that's one of the reasons you like to blitz even on run downs. It confuses the blocking assignments. It doesn't allow those offensive linemen to get up to the second level.
They haven't made much of this great starting field position they had. Here's 3rd and 6. Flacco from the gun. Got a man, it's complete. Williams. And finally down he goes as they work it inside the 10 to the 7. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal. First red zone chance now for the Ravens. They've got it 1st and goal at the 7. Flacco into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Derek Johnson. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. They couldn't hook up with Decker that time. He had a little bit of the turnover bug last week, 3 interceptions. Not an absolute disaster, but another one here. Do you start to get a little worried?
You worry about your team as a whole because you have to find a way to make those interceptions, quote-unquote, go away, and that means your defense. They've got to go out there on sudden change and at least hold people to field goals. And if that keeps happening, they lose confidence in the quarterback, and then no one plays well.
And complete, right side to Cook. And they'll get him down up past the 15, just shy of the 20. The drive starting with a 1st down, 11 yards on that pickup.
His position, and he's listed as a tight end, but he certainly doesn't run like one, and that's what we're seeing more and more coming into the league. Those guys who can run, make plays after the catch, and gain that additional yardage.
And using that speed there to turn it into a pretty nice little game. Carr now on 1st down. Throwing middle, but it's incomplete.
And that's one he's got to be happy to have back. There wasn't a hole open in the zone.
You'd have to think on early downs like that 1st down there, need to be a little bit more careful.
Yeah, fortunately for him, got a couple more downs to play with.
Now Carr, after the incomplete pass, brings him up 2nd and 10. Now the first carry for Marshawn Lynch. And a short pickup there as he'll take this up to right around the 20. Only a yard on the pickup there, so it leaves him needing a conversion here on 3rd and a tough 9. Now Carr on the bootleg. And able to find Green. And he'll get this up to the 34-yard line. Green's first catch of the game. Good for a first down.
Nice catch right there. Brings to mind the sentence, when in doubt, find your veterans.
I used to laugh back in the day when they would call guys like him crafty veterans. You get up in your 30s, you're still playing receiver, but you're around that long at that position, you're doing something right.
Just remember this. When he was young, he thought the crafty veteran was simply a guy who couldn't run anymore. Now he understands a little bit better.
And he'll be out of bounds after getting this one across the 40. A good pickup there. 8 yards on the first down completion.
When you decide to run a hitch route, it really helps to have a guy who can turn it loose. And, boy, he rifled one in there on that one. Not much run after catch, but it worked really well.
Back to the ground. Lynch trying to bounce it outside, but he's only able to get it back to the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play, and now they're faced with a 3rd and 1. On 3rd and short, the fullback Burton. And he's going to have a first down as he's brought down at the 44-yard line. They only get 2 there, but on 3rd and 1, that's all they needed to keep the drive going. On 1st and 10, here's Carr. And this is Cook with a grab. And he'll go down, but not before getting this inside the 30. A very solid gain of 27.
But when you hit him on the move like that, and he's able to get into open field with a full head of steam, oh, boy, it's going to be tough to get him down.
Yeah, there was a big window. They're lucky they did get him down. So in Raven territory now, here's a 1st and 10 as they're down to the 29-yard line. Carr going to throw. Eluding the pressure right. And he's got some space here. Another nice gain, 16 yards there and a first down again.
I think the last 2 plays really illustrate how difficult it is to game plan against this guy, because you know he can throw the football, but how about his use of legs as well? What we call those broken plays, you can't account for them.
Yeah, those plays, those 2 that you just mentioned, a microcosm really of how he can hurt you. Throwing on first down is Carr. And he will not get away from the pressure here. Carr taken down. Jonathan Hankins in there to drop him, and it'll be a loss of about 8. Gotta imagine the pass rush will be equally intense here on 2nd down following the sack. It's 2nd and 18. Carr gives to Marshawn. And he's going to be taken down here with a penalty flag on the field. So a decent gain, but all for naught on the penalty.
It's too bad, isn't it? They were feeling pretty good about it. Only people celebrating, the guys who just gave up that play.
Ready to go now in the 2nd quarter. Brandon Gaudin, Charles Davis. It's the Raiders in possession of the football, but they face a 2nd and long to start things out. The penalty, Lynch. And he'll take this inside the 30 to about the 29, maybe the 28-yard line. He'll get 3, but it leaves him with a big hole here on 3rd and very long. Off the bootleg. Carr rolling to his right. And that's going to be caught for a Raider touchdown. A.J. Green, his 6th touchdown of the season. And the Raiders are able to cash in for 6. And, partner, they found a gap there on the post pattern, and it was in the middle third of the field.
And that's really difficult to do because ordinarily the safeties are back there to prevent that happening. But they found the opening and exploited it.
Extra point good by Hopkins. And it's now a 7-0 game. Here's Hopkins now out to kick it away. This one taken from the 7. And he'll bring it a few past the 20 to the 23-yard line. Now the Baltimore offense heading back out onto the field. And still a lot of football to be played in this season. We're only in November. A lot can happen between now and January. But if it ended today, they would just be on the outside of the playoff picture looking in. So a lot to fight for.
Yeah, and wasn't it interesting in our meeting with the coaching staff that they all made sure to let us know, we know where we are right now. But the playoffs don't start tomorrow. We still got some time, and they plan on putting it together, formulating a streak, got the whole month of December still left to play. They think they can get in.
And they made it very obvious to us that there's no playoff talk in the locker room right now. It's win this game and look to next week.
Excellent focus.
Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie up to make the tackle. The stop for no gain brings up 2nd and 10 from the 20. Flacco here on 2nd down. Got his man. It's Williams. And he'll be brought down. Oh, that's a face mask. Certainly looked like it. Indeed, here come the flags. Charles, did I just hear that right? They declined the personal foul. 3 yards, they just declined them.
And I have to think that the official is thinking to himself, did I just hear that correctly, that you declined that one? All I can think of is that someone on the field got confused.
Must have.
It had to, because you're going to take the yards on that penalty each and every time.
After the penalty, a fresh set of downs. It's 1st and 10. Operating out of the gun. Flacco looking middle, and that's complete. And he'll be taken down, but not before he works it past the 50. 16 yards on that one at a Raven first. And that's one of his advantages of a passer, is it not? With his height, setting back there in the pocket, firing it over the middle, he can really see everything clearly.
It is, and I know that other quarterbacks get it done different ways, all right? You don't have to be his height to make a great play. But what he does is he takes away having to make those slide steps in the pocket to find angles to throw the ball through. He just throws right over the top of it because he can see everything, and sometimes that saves time and gets the ball to a receiver quicker.
It's a pickup of 4, and it'll bring up 2nd down.
When we see those runs to the perimeter, when we see those runs to the edge, we think about big breakers, don't we? In this case, it was a modest gain, but it does open up possibilities here on 2nd down.
On the give, this is Collins running left. And he's taken down inside the 30. That one good for 13 and a Raven first down.
A big hole there. How about him handling the point of attack? Just positioning himself so that run could go right off of his backside and deep into the secondary.
This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. They go play action here on 1st down. Flushed out right. And incomplete. Crisis averted. Almost picked. Instead, 2nd down.
Well, nearly another interception there. That would have been 2 drives in a row with a pick. He's got to start taking care of the ball way better than what we're seeing.
Interestingly, that throw was probably worse than the one he threw the interception on last drive, but fell incomplete. Here's 2nd and 10 now from the 29. 2nd and 10. Flacco once more. Crabtree with it over the middle. And he gets it all the way down inside the 10 and mark him at the 5. 23 yards on the play. Now Flacco. Oh, that was dangerous. Threw it into coverage, almost picked, but instead they'll keep it on 2nd down.
It's been my observation there's been a nice variety of play calling defensively. You and I often talk about an offense's ability to keep a defense off balance with what they're doing. I think the converse has been true in this game.
Yeah, I think you're right. They seem to have gone off tendency quite a bit, but only the 2nd quarter, a lot of time to change things. Once more, it's Flacco. His pass caught at the 4. They get only a yard there. Now it's 3rd and goal. They've been denied touchdowns in the red zone twice already. Here comes 3rd and goal. Barely got that snap off. Flacco now. And he can't come up with a pick. Nearly his 2nd of the game. Instead, 4th down.
I think someone's going to get into QB1's ear when he gets to the sideline. Already thrown an interception. That one should have been picked. Look, let's just be honest about it. That'd be the 2nd person in his ear because he's hearing it in the huddle right now.
Not the start to the game he wanted. Like you said, the pick on the opening drive, 2nd drive, not much better. And Tucker's kick right there. It's good. And they are on the board, but still trailing. It's 7-3. Well, that's something of a pick-me-up. The offense certainly has struggled, but they do get the field goal before half to put 3 on the board.
Yeah, you don't want to be shut out, but let's face it. Those 3 points, that's not going to solve all their problems either.
And now Oakland ready to take the field. And they're hoping to redo their efforts in the last drive when they got into the end zone.
And just think of what it's like now on the sideline. Because when you score a touchdown, you have to go over and look at the tablet and see what you did on the last drive. When you scored points, it's a whole lot better view than when you're trying to figure out how to fix things there.
Carr and the Raiders come up 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. They start the drive with Lynch. And he'll fight forward to about the 27-yard line. 2 yards on the carry there. It'll be 2nd down.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
Two minutes remain here in the first half. We're back to Baltimore after this. They'll break the huddle, come up on 2nd and 8 at the 27-yard line. On 2nd down, here's Carr. Now they set up the screen. That's complete. Space to maneuver at the 40. And a nice gain of 21 yards.
And that was a beautifully executed screen pass. They let the rushers get upfield and get the escorts in front, meaning the offensive linemen, other blockers out in front. Completed the pass beautifully. So now you've got all that open space with big guys leading the way.
First down, the run with Lynch. 11 more on that one and another first down.
At this stage of the game, the run-pass numbers are a little bit out of whack because most of the yardage has come through the air. But in a sense, that just sets things up for big runs like that because the defense might be a little bit off balance. They pick up another first down with that run.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll lose yardage here. Back at the 41. Now before the second down play, we'll get whistles and a timeout as they'll talk things over prior to this upcoming second down play. Carr to throw on second down. Wide open receiver complete. And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. A really nice gain of 25 yards. They'll run it now out of the gun. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. And before this second down play, we'll get a whistle, a signal, and a timeout, as the clock will stop with 45 seconds to go in the first half. To throw after the play fake to Lynch. Sliding out of the pocket. And he's going to be dropped. Back at the 15-yard line.
I think normally we would talk about this more with basketball players and football players, but let's adopt it in this case. He's a stat sheet stuffer.
Had the interception earlier, now a sack. What, he just needs a touchdown for the trifecta.
That's about all he needs, and he's going to go for it.
The Raiders on third down. A perfect 3 for 3 as they look to keep that streak going. This is 3rd and 7. Off the bootleg. Carr. And Cook has it left side. And he'll be out of bounds, taking it just shy of the 10 at the 11 or the 12. They stop him for only 3 that time, and that'll bring up 4th down. So they won't get a touchdown, but here's a chance to at least get 3 to end the first half. And Hopkins' kick is good. And they push the lead up to a touchdown now at 10-3. So they put together a good little drive there, but ultimately stalling out in the red zone.
Yeah, I know a lot of people look at it as a little bit of a negative. They didn't get 6 points out of it, right? Didn't get the touchdown. But that's actually okay. They got 3 points, able to give their defense a little bit of rest, let them settle down over there. So all in all, to me, that's a good drive.
Solid return, pretty good field position. They'll start at the 32-yard line. And the Ravens taking the field. And from this spot in the field with the clock where it's at, you think we're just going to see a knee and that's it?
And I think in this situation, that's the proper play. But we do know there's some risk takers out there that may want to take one more shot before the clock runs out.
Final play of the first half, barring a penalty, as they come up on 1st and 10.
Hey, we got three down. Ready? Got sack, ready?
And with time running short here, they'll simply take a knee, and that should do it for half number 1. So we've reached halftime with the visiting Raiders out in front. As we'll send you down the coast now to Orlando, that's where we find Jonathan Coachman, ready with our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach. The Raiders with the lead already, and they will get the football here as the second half is now underway. This one fielded at the 5. And he'll take this across the 25, couple extra yards, up to the 27-yard line. Out comes the Raiders offense. They'll go on offense first to start quarter number 3. They have the lead. Now they'll be looking for some separation here as we begin the third quarter.
I like the way you term that because now I think they go a little bit deeper into their playbook. They like what they did in the first half. That worked okay. But in order to get the separation that you just talked about, change things up a little bit. change your tendencies, try and hit them a little bit more with some things they didn't see in the first half.
Let's see if they do just that. First carry for Doug Martin, the two-time Pro Bowler in Tampa. And they will stop him after a fairly minimal pickup. Give him a couple on the carry there, 2nd and 8.
I know the scouting report on him is that he doesn't possess the eye discipline to be an elite linebacker. And what that means is his ability to read, react, and make a play. But on that one, he looked like one of those guys.
Now Carr throwing on 2nd down. Caught by Nelson left side. And he lost the football. But this will fortunately wind up out of bounds.
Now I have to admit, partner, that I've often thought that I don't like this rule, where the offensive player fumbles the ball, it goes out of bounds, and they get to keep it.
That's just because you're a defensive guy. That's why you don't like it.
Yeah, you're right. It is a slanted view, isn't it?
But this is where, for the offensive team, the sideline is their friend. Usually it's not there for him.
Yeah, exactly right. I actually played for a guy in college. You know what he used to name the sideline? Sammy. Sammy sideline, and use him well.
He's got a convoy, and he might be gone. Beast mode unleashed, a big one there. 57 yards on the ground. So down inside the 5-yard line. I have to say, really just a poor job defensively there.
You're exactly right. As a former defensive back, that was not played well at all. But give credit to the offense and give credit to the guy running the football. He gets it down all the way inside the 5.
They'll run. Martin. And he'll go backwards. Losing yardage to the 5. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be 2nd down.
So the myth has been shattered. Every cornerback in the league is not just a cover corner. Some of them will stick their nose in there and make plays exactly as we just saw there. A big loss suffered by the offense after that nice tackle.
Play action. Now it's Carr. Being chased out left. And the Raiders are in for 6. Touchdown. Derek Carr, his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon. And the Raiders add on to their lead. Now it's Hopkins to add the extra point. Hopkins with the extra point, and the lead is now 17-3. Here's Hopkins now out to kick it away. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. The Ravens offense getting ready now for their first possession of the 2nd half. They're down in this game. A chance for the offense, though, to put something on the board, get some momentum here in half 2.
Try and get things kick-started for them. And you know at the half, they discussed how they were going to get that done. This is where scripting comes into play a lot of the time.
How many plays do you script coming out of the second?
Most of the time in the first half, you're scripting 12 to 16. I think in the second half, you're really scripting more like 8 to 10. Kind of a starter or an opener, whatever terminology they use, just something to get you off to a quick start.
They try to throw on 2nd down, but this one is incomplete.
Well, this at least is the right idea. I think they've got to get the tight end more involved.
He had just 1 target in the first half, incomplete. Now incomplete here with the first target of the second half.
Yeah, should not stop them at all from going back to him. Find him.
Flacco looks to throw. Open receiver, that's Hayden Hurst, the tight end. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. The Ravens get a new set of downs, give them 17 on that pickup. Here's a first down run with Collins. And this will be taken across midfield and into Raider territory. 8 yards on the pickup, and now they'll have some options on second and short. They'll run it here. This is Buck Allen. And the stop here will come at the 38-yard line. 8 yards on the pickup there, and it moves the sticks.
Despite the score, despite the deficit, no quitting this guy. He's running angry, running through arm tackles. He wants to change what that scoreboard is saying.
Still in search of their first touchdown of the game, but they're on the move. 1st and 10. On 1st down, Flacco. And it pops free. The collision there jarred the ball loose and brings up 2nd down. We saw this a lot in the first half, and it continues. These receivers just not able to get much separation.
So that means they have to win the 50-50 balls. They've got to go up with the defender and find a way to start coming down with them.
And this time, contact and another incomplete pass. They work again from the 38 on 2nd and 10. Flacco to throw again on 2nd down. Looking for Crabtree, and it's intercepted. Picked off at the 28. He was looking for Crabtree that time.
Oh, timing is everything on a route like this. He tried to drive that football into a tight spot. And if you're a little early or a little late, chances are there's going to be someone there. And sure enough, this one's going the other way.
Carr and the Raiders come up 1st and 10 at the 40. They start the drive with Martin. And he's going to bull his way forward to the 48. Just what you want on a 1st down run. Call it 8 yards, and it's 2nd and 2. On play action, now Carr. Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. That goes for a gain of 31.
Now that play will end up on the highlights, and you'll see it all over the place. But what you won't see, the offensive line that bought the extra time, that allowed for the big completion downfield, those guys made that play possible.
The pitch out to Lynch, and this one goes nowhere. Losing yardage back at the 22. It's a loss of 2 there, bringing up 2nd down.
I know when I was a kid, I always got real excited when I saw those lateral-type runs. But the best backs that made it happen, they put a foot in the ground and just go. That didn't happen there. That play got swallowed up.
They fake the handoff. Now Carr. He'll buy some time right. And he'll be forced out of bounds shy of the line of scrimmage, so that'll be credited as a sack. He lost 2 there, and it's 3rd down.
Now, I know it's only a loss of a couple of yards, but when you get near the sidelines, just flip the ball out of bounds, incomplete, and save the yardage. Save the yards, not your stats.
The run hasn't worked the last couple of plays. Now it's 3rd and 14. Now contact up front as penalty markers come in. Who is this against? A free 5 yards as the defense jumps.
I know it's an anticipation game for them, but it's also a reaction game, and they reacted poorly on that one.
Off the bootleg. Carr. And that is incomplete.
Not only was the call spot on, how about the execution of that defense right there? The zone was absolutely locked up tight. He was trying to force it in there on third down.
But if there's a time to force it, he felt like he needed to make a play, right?
Yeah, exactly right. Third down, you got to try and find something. There's nothing available there for him.
And Hopkins' kick is good. And that'll push the lead up to 17. So the drive stalls out inside the 15-yard line, but they do get 3.
And I've talked with enough players nowadays that when they have these types of kicks, that no one says to their guy, hey, that's just like making an extra point, piece of cake. Because the extra point is not a piece of cake anymore. But kicking a field goal from that distance, just give him confidence and let him knock it through.
And now Baltimore gets set to take the field. And there are parts of their last drive they'd like to emulate. And, of course, they'd like to forget the ending, the interception. But they did put together, Charles, a nice sustained drive to get him down the field.
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, the only thing that matters is part 2, right? Because once they threw the interception and finished off the drive, that does them no good to go back and say, well, you know, we had a good one going. Finish things off. That's the only way you can get it done.
And forget about finding a lane. He barely had time to look up before he was planted in the backfield.
But if these guys are going to chop into that deficit, they're going to have to do a much better job in the run game. Caught behind the line of scrimmage, no yardage to be found.
So the opening play of the drive goes backwards. Now they'll come up on 2nd and 12. On 2nd down, Flacco to throw. To the right side and complete to Hurst. And he'll get it up to the 33-yard line. They'll wind up getting 10 back as that sets him up for 3rd down.
So much goes into a successful play, doesn't it? How about that play action there? Freezing the defense just enough to swing the tight end free downfield for the completion.
And he'll have it past midfield almost to the 40 before being taken down. They give him 27 yards on the 3rd down conversion. Here's Flacco. Wide open receiver complete. And he'll be brought down somewhat awkwardly here, and a late flag as well. I think this one's going to be a face mask. So now then the penalty's got him set up with a 1st and goal. To pass, Flacco. And he is into the end zone for a Baltimore touchdown. Michael Crabtree, his 2nd touchdown on the season. And the Ravens cut into that lead. Great corner route there. Not only able to catch it, turn it upfield, and get into the end zone.
It usually involves a little bit of an extra move, doesn't it? You've got to get them thinking that you're moving to the middle of the field and you're breaking away to that corner. Boy, that was well executed.
And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. Now the Raiders offense, they get set to head back on the field. And they're not going to play this conservative, I don't think. They had the field goal last time, and they're up, but they're looking to put a drive in the end zone.
Oh, I agree with you totally. No one goes out on the field and says, all right, let's just settle for 3, except in certain situations, trying to ice a game, that sort of deal. Most of the time, it's end zone, and that's what you're thinking, and I believe that's exactly what they're thinking as they begin this one.
Yeah, no quarterback ever goes out there saying, hey, let's get 3, right?
Not one that I've ever met. But Brandon, pace comes into play now because they've got the advantage. They've got the football, but they've got to be very careful about what speed they're going to play. You know, my music teacher back in New Paltz, Mrs. Byfema Bagley, used to say, don't go prestissimo when you really want to go largo. And what she meant by that is don't go too fast when you really want to go at a nice, slow, deliberate pace.
I am speechless. I am without speech. So on the big tight end, holding.
Each and every year, we talk about very few tight ends coming into the league that are polished blockers or asked to do it a lot in college. So it's a constant struggle and a constant fight to learn how to do it without holding.
Now they face a 2nd and long following the holding penalty.
Down. You ready? Here's right. Listen.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair. It'll wind up being a loss of 2. And they're going to face an uphill battle here on 3rd and long. Now Carr on the bootleg, steps away, and this is going to be incomplete.
He's a little trigger happy right there, and it turned into an ill-advised throw into their zone.
Well, we know he has confidence. He'll throw it any place, anytime, anywhere. That time it fell incomplete. Here now, Johnny Townsend as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. With it is Brown. Now after the punt on that play, we've got a man down to the field. Well, he gets attended to. We'll step aside. The Ravens offense now, they get set and head back onto the field. And for them, a touchdown their last go-around. Obviously, they'll be hoping to do that again.
And when you start plotting for this drive, when you start thinking to yourself, okay, what are we going to do? You don't go away from what you did before because that worked. But you have to be prepared for wrinkles and counters because you know they'll make some adjustments.
Well, when you're leading in the 4th quarter, that's not the penalty you want.
Not at all, and now your discipline comes into question. Having poise this stage of the game, you can't have those kind of plays.
So the yellow flag came out, and that leads to a new set of downs for this offense. 1st and 10. They'll run with Darkwa. And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. 5 yards on the carry. Good pickup on 1st down.
And that's exactly what you want on a 1st down run. Pick up 5 yards, bring up 2nd and 5. The defensive line, though, they've got to figure out a way to out-leverage the guys up front because the offensive line is winning at the point of attack.
Let's go, hurry up.
2nd down, Flacco now. And the hit jarred it loose. It's incomplete. We have not seen a whole lot of wide-open receivers. Everything seemingly has been contested.
And that's another nice job there to force an incompletion. They've been very cohesive, knowing each other's moves all game long, and they've been on the spot just about every time.
And they've held them in check on the scoreboard. Flacco fakes the give, sets to throw. And it falls incomplete after almost being intercepted. A pick there would have been great. The good news for the defense now, it's 4th down. So on 4th down, out trots the kicker in a big spot here. From the right hash, it's a 35-yard attempt. And Tucker's kick right there, it's good. And that will tighten this one up a bit. Now a one-score game at 20-13. All right, so they needed 2 scores to get back in the game. The field goal there, maybe not exactly what they wanted, but the necessary first step.
There's still time remaining, and there's enough time to get it done. They've got to get at the least a 3-and-out here to get the ball back, preferably a takeaway.
And now Oakland ready to take the field. They're holding on right now to that slim advantage in a one-score game, and you hear a lot about 2-minute offense and 4-minute offense. Obviously, the 4-minute offense applies here. How do they run that effectively?
Yeah, really what the 4-minute offense is you're just trying to grind the clock. So you want consistent gains, steady gains. Doesn't have to be big plays, but it has to be plays that gets first downs and keeps the ball away from your opponent.
But certainly throwing the ball is in the mix here.
It certainly is. Just make sure that you're careful with it. And again, get those first downs, keep possession of the football.
They'll break the huddle, come up on 2nd and 8 at the 27-yard line. Again, it's Richard. Able to shake free for about 7 up to the 35. Now, the objective there, I mean, yes, the positive gain, that's nice, but work some clock.
Yeah, you're exactly right, but the problem for them is still within a possession, so they can't just sit on it running the ball. They'll have to find a way to throw it effectively as well.
The battle in the trenches never more important than right now. This is 3rd and inches. And they're going to take it all the way down and just take the delay. He didn't seem in a rush. I guess they just didn't know where the play clock was.
I think you're right about that because there was no hurried movements there, right? No up-tempo at all. Clock just ran out. I think he was as surprised as maybe his bench was.
One of the bigger plays in the game thus far, and the crowd getting into it as we come up on a big 3rd down. Here's Carr. Looking left side, and he's got a man. That's Nelson. And he's got the first before he's brought down at the 39-yard line. First down, Raiders. The former Packer Jordy Nelson on the receiving end from Carr. Not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10. Time for a break. We'll come back for the electrifying conclusion after this. So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. Toss play to Lynch. Oh, he's got a little daylight. 14 yards is the pickup there at a Raider first.
Do my eyes deceive me, or is he getting stronger as this game moves along?
Burst seems just as good here in the 4th as it was way back in the 1st, doesn't it?
I do believe someone put a lot of time in the offseason and continues to condition during the season in order to continue to carry the ball at this rate.
They run again on 1st down, Lynch. And nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage. And now we're going to get a timeout defensively. So another stop, 1:50 left in the football game. Another running situation on the doorstep as they come up 2nd and 10. On 2nd down, Lynch. And he's going to get this one down near the 45-yard line. And now the Ravens are going to take another timeout as they'll talk it over here before what will be an important 3rd down. Back to throw. Carr rolling to his... Oh, no! Lost the football! And this one goes nowhere. Losing yardage on the play back at the 46. And a timeout here. Timeout taken. Whistles blown. Timeout taken by the receiving team. As they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. He gets this one away, and boy, it's another boomer. And it's taken in at the 9. It's a return of 5 following a punt of 42 yards. And the Ravens will get it 1st and 10 from deep in their own territory. The Ravens offense now, they get ready to head back on the field. They're down here in a one-score game, but the time, it's a factor, but it's not a huge factor right now, is it?
It's really not, because this amount of time gives them a chance to run their offense, to go through play sequences. And this is what they work on every week in practice, usually on a Friday. They go over this type of a situation, late game situation. What are we going to do when we have the opportunity? They've called these plays a bunch of times. Now's their chance to execute them.
Well, they have the opportunity now. Here's the execution. So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on 1st down. Back to throw. Over the middle, the catch by Coleman. And he'll get this up to the 30-yard line. 16 yards on that one and a Raven first. Obviously a big first down right there.
Yeah, they still got to hustle. They got to get up to the line of scrimmage and get set. But I don't think necessarily you need to spike it. But they've got to continue to move quickly.
He's going to let it fly. He couldn't quite hold it. Got hit. Ball pops out. Incomplete. These are the spots, this stage of the game, where it pays to have speed on the perimeter, doesn't it?
It certainly does. And in the second quarter, he may very well run by him. But in this situation, I know as a defender, I'm loosening up a couple of extra steps that allowed him to run with him stride for stride.
Ball on the 30 as they come up 2nd and 10. They'll look to throw. Now a desperation throw deep downfield. And both guys were there, but it falls incomplete. That would have been a tough catch, but in this 2-minute drill, those are the ones you really hope your guys come up with.
Yeah, you don't want your guy to be able to take the out because it was a tough catch. You needed him to come up with that one, because if he does, it alters the perspective of this 2-minute drill, doesn't it?
He's back to throw, and the 3rd down pass falls incomplete. What a great sequence by this defense so far. They've given him nowhere to go with the football.
And they just have to make it stand up one more time, because it appears that they've got their number. Can they not have a slip up here and allow the touchdown?
He'll look to throw. And that is incomplete. They had to go for it with such little time remaining. And that's going to be just about all she wrote for this one. And now here come the Raiders. They have the lead, obviously, late in the game. I guess the good news for them is if for some reason they would make a mistake, a field goal does the opposition no good.
Everyone loves to have a little bit of a cushion, and that helps you immeasurably. But the bottom line is, do all the things that you're taught in order to close out the game. Don't even let that become an issue.
Yeah, but still a one-possession game. This one not fully over yet.
Monday down. Get set, get set.
Carr down to a knee, and that ought to just about do it. A road win in the National Football League. Charles, you never take that for granted, no matter who you're playing, no matter where you're playing.
You take it and you run with it. And you know you primed the pump all week in your own home facility. No one thinks we can do this. Only people who believe are right here in this room. And then you go on the road, band together, and get it done.
So for Oakland, the win gets them a step closer to 500 at 5-6. And they'll return home next week to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. Meanwhile, for Baltimore, it's a loss that sets them back in their playoff push as they fall to 6-5. And they'll try to turn it around next week as they head to Atlanta for a matchup with the Falcons. I'm Brandon Gaudin. Certainly have to thank Charles Davis, my broadcast partner, and our entire crew. We'll catch you next time right here. It's the NFL on EA Sports.
Pulling up in that new toy, the wrist on that boy, rock star like Pink Floyd, waving at rude boy, I'm waving at you boy, ran off on the two like True Goy, imagine me do boy, you could never do what I do.